When using accessories to hold your expensive camera equipment, an awful lot of trust has to be made up, and this is difficult to find without trial and error. Normally we'd talk to other camera operators to find out what they're using and what sort of trust they have in the equipment that they are using. In this case I was looking for a heavy duty dual suction cup mount. I was guided to a company called Fantasy that had the heavy duty dual suction cup mount that I needed. I did find this on Amazon. I will leave a link in the description below for this suction cup mount. The quality of the material and build is excellent. Everything you need to attach your camera to it is provided in the box. A GoPro mount and phone holder can also be found in the box. The bridging arm is made of thick walled alloy. A good quality 360-degree panorama ball head is also included. All the items included in the box have been aimed at heavy duty work. There are no assembly instructions inside the box, but it is pretty straightforward and easy to put together. The first thing you will need to do is connect both suction cups to the alloy extrusion. This is done by removing the pivot pin as shown. There is a black tension washer. This needs to be put into the place on the side of the suction cup. Put the alloy extrusion into the pivot pin brackets, lining up the hole, and put in the pivot pin as shown. On the one end of the pivot pin is a square. This will push into the square hole on the bracket. Put the washer in place and then fit the wing nut onto the threaded end of the pin. At this stage there is no need to tighten up the wing nut. This will need to be left loose as we do need the pivot pin and the arm to move freely. That concludes the assembly of the first suction cup. Do exactly the same to the other suction cup and connect it to the aluminium extrusion. When assembled, yours will look exactly the same as this, with the lever locks pointing upwards as shown. There is only one more item to fix onto the extrusion, and that is the adjustable 360-degree ball head. In the bottom of this you will find a 1/4 to 3/8 adapter. To make things a little easier for you, remove the adapter from the ball head and fit it into the alloy extrusion. You will find a 1/4-20 hole already there to put this into. You can now fit and tighten the ball head to this. The idea of the pivot pins is to allow each of the suction cups to move, especially when you've got uneven surfaces. To mount your camera or any other devices, this can be done with a quick release plate on the top of the 360-degree ball joint. Although GoPro and phone holding devices are provided, the suction cups is a little bit overkill for these, but it was nice of them to include them. One very important point to remember that the suction cups have to be fitted onto a smooth surface. The surface of my desk is porous, so it will not hold the suction cups at all. So testing here, you can see the suction cups are put in place and no way will it stick. So flat shiny surfaces are really good for these suction cups. Make sure the surface you're fitting them to and also the suction cup is clean. Push down on the cup, then a little bit of force is required to pull the lever down for it to stick. There is a tremendous amount of sucking power on these cups. The table that I am using here is quite heavy, and one cup on its own lifts it with ease with no issues or problems. With both cups fitted, no way is this going to move. I was really banging this hard and there was no movement or slipping in any way, shape or form. I did need to be quite rough with this. Remember, my camera equipment is expensive and I'm sure yours is as well. For testing purposes here, I'm using the Canon 70D. This weighs approximately 2.5 pounds in weight. The first test here was on the bonnet of my car. Make sure that both surfaces are clean, both the bonnet and also the suction cup. Depending upon the type of shot that you want, it's up to you. You can fit this on either your bonnet, side panels, windows, inside the car, outside the car. It will not slip or move, trust me. A good bit of force is needed when pushing down and pulling the levers on each of the suction cups. This is normal. Okay, with the suction cup mount in place, it's time to fit the camera. Remember, when the vehicle's moving there will be a fair amount of vibration, so make sure that the quick release plate has been secured tightly. When everything is pointing in the right direction where you want, tighten up the pivot pins on both sides. As a safety note, when in your vehicle, ensure that the camera is not in your field of view when you're driving. You may need to position it over and out of the way. The rule of thumb here is check everything is tightened twice and drive once. I do have a good selection of cameras that I can use. In the past, when I was doing anything like this before, it was either with a GoPro or a DJI action camera. This was mainly due to the poor quality and size of the suction cups that were available. Being able to put on a bigger camera is definitely a bonus for me. Here I'm travelling at a little bit of speed and there was no issues or problems. With this first test I did go over some bumpy areas, drove at speed and took corners sharply. There was no issues, sliding or problems with the attachment. My next test was to attach the suction cups to the side window. Again, making sure that both the cups and the window were clean before attaching. The ball joint worked extremely well. I was still able to get a 45-degree angle and get the camera to lie straight. Okay, do the same test once again, running over bumpy areas at speed and cornering sharply. There's a small area here that is extremely uneven and bumpy. Either I have very good suspension on the car or the stabilisation on the camera is exceedingly good. One thing to remember is that when you have the camera on the side, you have to set it up exactly how you want, as you will not know until afterwards when you view the video that has been taken whether it's worked or not. I'm very happy with the way that the camera performed on the suction cups. I could probably show you loads and loads of videos in different positions for the camera to be, either down low by the wheels, up on the roof, pointing backwards. But I'm sure when you get your own you'll have far better ideas of filming with it than I. I do have a standard quick release plate that I do use on everything, so I did fit it onto the suction cup, as using this does really make life easy for myself. Here you can see a small selection of cameras that I use. The Handycam, one of the main cameras that I use. The DJI Osmo Action or GoPro fits on here, even the mobile phone. A little bit overkill for the phone and the Action and GoPro, but for the likes of the cameras like the Canon and SLRs, this is absolutely perfect. I hope you found this information of use to you. Thank you for watching.